Welcome to the channel, guys. If you're new here, thanks for checking me out. Do stick with me because this video hopefully is a good guide. If you've not watched many watch reviews, you're new to the hobby, or you just want a different take on how to look at a piece before buying it, I look more at the affordable range. And now affordable is very broad. Some people say affordable is, well, my budget's $1,000 and I buy one every month. Good for you. I wish I could do that. But we're focusing more on people that have more realistic goals when it comes to affordability of pieces. So bear that in mind when you're looking at how I do this video. So generally it's affordable watches, and this is effectively me breaking this video down into sections of all the little aspects I will look at a watch and how I share that with you guys in my usual and my new most up-to-date reviewing format that's evolved over time. So I'm new to this game, but it's working. You guys enjoy it, and it gives you the information you need to know, and I try to make it fun as well, because at the end of the day this is a hobby and it's just a bit of fun, so we've got to stick and remember that. So this video hopefully is going to be informative, helpful, and hopefully a bit of fun, so stick with me and I'll see you sec. So, if appropriate, I like to discuss history or a bit of backstory behind a brand. Now, with affordable watches, they do vary in having backstories. If you go to Casio or Seiko, Citizen, they're just top of my head. There's so many out there, obviously, but they've got a backstory. They've been around for a long time, and they've got history, and there's design legacy, there's branding, there's all that stuff. And then you've got Chinese homage watches, which have almost no branding or history. They're effectively, obviously, making homage watches. So they're tapping into a design theme or an ethos that someone else has spent decades building, but it's a way of getting that look and feel for a lot less money. So that's why when I do my history section, obviously it depends on the timepiece. If I review a Hamilton watch, I've got lots to tell you. There's a nice bit of history behind Hamilton. It's got a story. Some people really don't care anything. I'm not spending $400 on a watch where it's got the exact same spec as something I can get from China for half the price. That's totally fine, that's fine. But a lot of people, myself included, do value a bit of heritage and pedigree and things like that sometimes with some of my watches. So that's why it's relevant to have that included, because it tells the backstory. And it doesn't justify some of the prices you may end up spending on some pieces, because that does inflate things dramatically. It's a new word. Dramatically increases the prices. So, but many of us are actually here just for value for money. We like a watch and we just go, what can I get for my $200, my £200? I just want the very best spec, and it's going to be, just does everything. I really don't care that it was made from a company that started 3 weeks ago. As long as they do a good job, I'm happy. So that's why some of you do and some of you don't skip the history section. But I like to think it's relevant and helpful. So what's the next section? So the nitty-gritty, the details, the stats and the specs. It's very important to cover that, and I cover it as early as possible. I'll start with history because I feel like start with telling the story a bit, and then we get into the watch. The watch, the most important thing you need to know is, yeah, you can read up the stats and the specs online, but I like to clarify, back up and prove those statistics and those information. And then you get to see the watch up close with those statistics being shown. It's 14 millimeters thick. What does that mean? Some watches 14 millimeters, it just looks wrong because it's a compact watch. It looks like a little chicken nugget on your wrist. And then you've got other watches which are 14 mil thick, but it's a 44 mil case size, and it looks in proportion. So this is why it's relevant to not just look at stats. It's to actually try and visualize, with the aid of us showing you, how it actually looks, and then put it on wrist. You know, that's why I say I have a 7-inch wrist, because you go, oh, if it looks all right on Dan's wrist, you know, he's got a 7-inch wrist, I've got about the same, and that looks good on Dan, should look all right on me. You know, it's that sort of helps you along. That's why the stats are good for the dimensions. But then it's good to know, obviously, the specification. You know, if you go, well, $200, what am I getting? Well, you're getting ceramic or not on your bezel insert. How good is the Lume? That's another section. The movement, is that any good? I need to know more about the movement. Again, that's another section. So it's good to know what you're getting for your money, and is it going to be the right size for you? Simple as that. So again, sort of building into the stats and specs, I've broken it down a bit more into detail, because you do get a lot more detail when it comes to the next bit, which is the movement. Movement's important because it's such a broad topic. I could talk for too long here, but I'm going to try and keep it compact. You need to think about What kind of movement do you want in your watch? Are you really thinking, well, I really want an auto and that's all I'm ever going to have? I will share the information about the automatic piece and the movement that's in that piece. Is it a 3 hertz, 21,600 beats per hour movement, which is very common, as the most commonly used type of movement? You've got lots, generally Seiko NH35s and 36s, etc. They are 10 a penny for good reason. They're very reliable and generally are pretty accurate, and you don't have too many issues, not that I've experienced, and I've seen probably 20 or 30 and I've never had an issue with one. Then you got Myotas. People are fans of them, and some people don't like the wobbly and noisy rotors on some of them, and that's what we share with you effectively, is what you're getting. And I've now got my new toy, the time graphing machine, and that of learning, and I had to basically measure and see how healthy and accurate that specific movement for the piece that's being reviewed is. And you as a viewer, engage from watching a few more of the videos, do check them out if you haven't, you can get to see overall what kind of accuracy you're going to be getting on the whole, on average, with a particular type of movement. And then we can move into more cost effective and lower cost high beat movements. They beat faster, so you've got a nice smoother sweep on the second hand, things like that. How accurate are those? Because they're meant to be a bit more accurate, that's why they beat faster. So it's interesting to know, are you getting more accuracy for having a bit more money spent on a high beat movement? Again, that can be shown, and you just got to think, what do you want? Then you can get quartz. You've got mecha quartz movements, you've got regular quartz movement, you've got ultra high precision quartz movements. There's lots of things. You need to think about, what do you value as the beating heart of your watch? And when you know a bit more what direction you want to go in, or need a bit of guidance, that's where hopefully we as reviewers can help you out. Now, if you've got a dress watch, it's very unlikely you're going to have any lume on the watch. Now, lume is important for many of us, because you're either as interested in it as hearing about your neighbour talking about their cat's bowel movements, or for you it's the most nerdy, exciting thing ever, and you will literally just lie in bed staring at your watch in the dark, like I do. I'm just in awe of the lume. That's how sad we can get about it. It's a nerdy, geeky thing, but it is relatively practical. But for most of us, it's not actually that useful, really. Even a dive watch, how many of us go diving? And if you do go diving, you don't need it to last much longer than 20 minutes anyway. So us doing 48-year time lapses that we like to do sometimes to show which has got the best lume, it's just nerdy stuff. And that's what you find as you go down the rabbit hole of watch interest and being a watch geek. Is I love lume because I'm a geek and it's fun. And I like to look at and share with you is, you find out what grade of lume is on there first. Is it C3? Is it Swiss grade? Is it a BGW9? These are different codes for different types of lume you can get. They have different colours. You can have green or blue. You can get faux lume, faux patina. It's got you can get different yellowy colours. It's something you can. It's so varied in what is available. So it's good to know if you're into your lume and you value it. It's good to share that with you guys, and that's why I include that aspect as part of the review segment, because I know you guys like it. So another thing as well, bearing in mind, when you're looking at pictures on the internet of a watch that you're interested in, or you're watching someone who's reviewing it under studio lights or a more sort of set up situation, when you're looking at a watch under those conditions, it doesn't always allow for it to pop, if you will, or give it that real natural look of when you're out and about day to day and you're looking at it under natural light. How's it going to look? That's why the outdoor section I love to do, because when you've got a bit of natural light, and it really helps a domed sapphire crystal pop, it really lets it sparkle. It helps show how, if the indices and hands have been really well polished, how well do they reflect the light, and the case polishing, the case finishing, all these kind of things. It's natural light really makes a huge difference to how it looks. So it's good to see that kind of side to a watch, because sometimes a bland watch on pictures can look amazing in real life. So it's good to share that with you. And I do like to get a bit sort of nerdy with it, with nice music and arty shots and things, because it's just good fun, but it also does help show the watch off, and that's what it's all about. So we've painted quite a broad picture now. The stats and the specs, a bit more about the movement in the piece. what you're getting for your money. Is the Lume any good? All that kind of stuff. And does it look good out in daylight? And the price is right. But what's really nice about being a watch reviewer is a lot of you would like to know what my overall opinion is, because I've obviously held and enjoyed and owned the watch for a period of time. So I can garner my own opinion based on my experience with the piece. So it's nice that the final part of the video is my thoughts. It's my effective review, a summary of that watch. And it's a personal choice, because I can say on paper, this is the best watch. It's fantastic. I can't find many flaws with it. It looks great. It's good money. Everyone in the world should buy one. But then that's where personal taste comes in, obviously. So I can say, well, my personal taste is 42mm case size. Even though it fits me and looks fine, it's comfortable, I still think it's too big. That's my opinion. Someone out there, you could watch and go, actually, I would prefer it if it was a 44, but I get away with the 42 case size. So I'm happy with that. So that's the beauty of it, is you'll see why I get to my final assumptions and opinions on a watch. And that can then layer in and sort of hopefully piece together with how you think about it as well. And then you can come to a final decision, go, you know what, I agree with most of what Dan said. I've got all the information I need, and it's been really helpful. I didn't know this, that's a new thing, or I think that's actually a deal breaker. Put it all together and you can come up with your final decision. That's why I love making these videos, because I feel like all we are guides. You know, we're not experts by, you know, a lot of us, we're just hobbyists, a lot of us, and we gain more and more knowledge and share that with you. Some people are experts and they're on watch YouTube channels and things like that, but they still can make mistakes and they can still have an opinion which isn't always agreed with. So that's the beauty of it. So I like to say is, remember, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guide. I'm not going to carry you to the top of Mount Everest. You want to go there. I know the way a bit. I'm going to help you, but you've still got to put the groundwork in. And that's what it's all about. We're just guides. And I hope this guide has been of use. It's a bit of a summary, really, and a quick fly through of how I break everything down and why. And if you found it useful and you can use this as a tool for you in your future buying decisions, definitely hit that like and subscribe buttons, because I've got a lot more content that I can share with you guys and hopefully help you out and save you some money as well, because I get lots of really happy people message me in comments saying, thank you so much for this, thank you for that, because of what you said and I agreed with it. I bought this watch and I love it. Or I was debating on this watch and I'm so glad I didn't buy it in the end, because I didn't realize it had this problem with it that I really couldn't have dealt with. That's why we do it. It's all part of the service, if you will. I'm happy to help. I'll see you in the next video, guys. It's been a real pleasure. Bye for now.